Psychological safety is the belief that you won't be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes. At work, it's a shared expectation held by members of the team that teammates will not embarrass, reject, or punish them for sharing ideas, taking risks, or soliciting feedback. In order to be successful, in order to feel good about yourself, you have to have psychological safety. And we are going to look into the possibilities of psychological safety, how it's possible, how it's achieved, for the winner of this month's reading, Meagan. If you're wondering what just happened, this is the monthly lottery draw that we do on this channel each and every month. And these are all the names of my supporters who decided to participate in the draw for a reading. And if you're interested in joining the next one, please check out the description below for instructions on how to do so. Okay. So, before we get into the reading, Meagan and everybody else who is staying here with us, I would like to ask all of you to take a couple of deep cleansing breaths, just to let your subconscious know that you are here for this reading. You are here for your subconscious to be activated and to be stimulated. You are here to communicate with your deep self. And let's make an intention for this reading. Let this reading heal Meagan. Let it provide powerful insights to her. And let it inspire others who are also joining in and watching this reading. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so via my website. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the description for that as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention this. Okay. So Meagan, we're going to start by assessing your current energetic situation. Let's get a read on what are some things that are destabilizing you. What are some things that are standing in the way of psychological safety? So when we're talking about psychological safety, we're talking about a sense of comfort with risk-taking and trust, and the ability to not feel shame when mistakes happen, when things go wrong, per se. It's a very powerful thing, a powerful skill that you can develop in the right kind of environment. So we're going to check with this card what it is that stands in the way of your psychological safety or reaching higher levels of it. And let's also have another card giving you some advice on how to push through, what to do, essentially, what direction to go to in order to acquire more psychological safety. Okay, so Meagan, your current energetic stance is represented by the Emperor. We're going to see in a second if it is in reverse or not, compared to or relative to the other cards. Next is what's standing in the way, and that's death. And the advice is the Hermit. Now this is really quite powerful because all three of these cards are Major Arcana cards. Major Arcana cards represent these deeper, more archetypal underlying patterns, big spiritual topics that you can encounter in your life. And having the Emperor, the Death card, and the Hermit card in the same reading is a really powerful thing. So Meagan, what I'm seeing here is that currently you are energetically connected with the Emperor. The Emperor is masculine energy, order, rules, strictness, schedules. It's all about the routine, the frameworks, the practical and enforced, quote unquote, policies that you have in your life that help you function. So the Emperor is very much about self-discipline and control of the self and the environment. So when it comes to psychological safety, if you're seeking too much control, that means that you're actually standing in your own way, because in order to be able to freely express whatever is within you, to kind of brainstorm and to show your true authentic self as well in work situations or in social settings, you need to let some of that control go. And it seems as though currently your sense of safety, your comfort zone is built on the things that you can control. And there's a strong presence archetypally of the father, a focus on accomplishments, achievements, conditional love, and pride. So that's what the Emperor card is about. And also the topic of punishment with the Emperor. There's no gain without pain in the Emperor's world, and there's no progress without castigating or taking punitive action against certain behaviors or certain actions. So the Emperor is very, very strict that way. Now, what is the thing that's standing in the way of your emotional and psychological safety? And here we have the glorious card of death. So really, even though the Emperor is scraping for control and normalcy and his approach is about building frameworks, coming up with systems within which he can be productive. So everything is about being productive, being successful, accomplishing a lot. And in the world of death, it's all about letting go. It's all about giving it up, surrendering, and allowing the universe to take control. So there's a really big contrast here. So actually, your psychological safety is threatened by the very thing that makes it possible. So there's a fear, almost a fear of death, a fear of dissolution, a fear of ego loss when it comes to those free expressions of the real self. So being who you are truly and expressing from that place seems like an extremely horrifying thing. And it's very likely because of the vindictive nature of the emperor and the controlling and restricting and limiting nature of the emperor, trying to fit everything into a box, having nice labels for everything, and being able to take account for everything that exists around him. There's no chaos around him. And death is chaos itself. So, psychological safety is glimmering in the distance, but in order to get there, you need to walk through this fire, walk through this deep, intense fear of death, of ego death. So here's the advice for you, Meagan, with the hermit. In order to establish a higher level of psychological safety in your life, first you need to practice by yourself. Psychological safety is often threatened in group situations because group psychology and pressure, peer pressure, and these hierarchical pressures that can arise in the workplace, these things make everything even more complicated. And so the hermit is advising you to first tackle the fears that are closest to you, the fears that are purely existing on the individual level, without necessarily trying to resolve it all, without necessarily trying to get good at it or have more of it in a social setting. First, you need to focus on your life, whatever is closest to you, whatever is still very much within your control, because the emperor, as discussed, is all about control. So take your microcosm, take your individual lonely existence and try to introduce more and more of this chaotic feeling, this chaotic reality into it. So we tend to very much be stuck in these kinds of comfortable, self-soothing loops of behavior. And especially in the digital age, it's very easy to escape into a digital haze. And there are other kinds of behaviors that are repetitive, ritualistic, and reaffirming that strengthen or confirm the perspective of the emperor, where the idea with the Emperor is I'm only safe when I'm fully in control. And for example, I of course don't want to offend anybody, but video games or these mobile phone games that so many people are addicted to, it's all about being the emperor in these tiny, very well controllable worlds. Or let's just say chess, for example. I play a lot of chess, and it's about the simplicity. Of course, it's an infinitely complex game, but there's a very relaxing certainty of the limitations that exist within the game. And so it's very much the same with video games. You can master video games, you can get really good at them and be aware of all the rules and utilize all the possibilities, all the opportunities that are in front of you, because it's a very noble world in contrast with the real world. So try to find these emperor-like behaviors independent of group settings, because that's almost like an advanced or a different representation of it. Try to find the emperor in your lonely hours and try to see the truth of what you're trying to do when you're doing those things. Whether you really are acting in a useful manner, or whether it's about control, reestablishing control and reestablishing these ideas of safety equals control. So the hermit is asking you to take some time observing yourself, ideally in the comfort of your own home, ideally in solitude, and try to practice, quote unquote, death. Practice the death of not having that familiarity of control, that safe, warm, fuzzy feeling of knowing what's going to happen next. Try and experiment with it in your alone time, and see what happens. See if you can get to the other side, walk through fire, or get through the water and get to the other side and find a deeper, truer level of safety over there. Thank you, Meagan, for watching this video, and to everyone else who decided to join us. And I hope to see you in our next video. Bye bye.